Salam. Salam. Good to see you, Akhi. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah. Yalla, let's go. Yalla. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Fadal. Bismillah. Are there any questions, Ikhwan? Are there any questions? Tayyib, Fadal. Fadal. Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam. So, Sheikh,
Fadal.
you talk about you were talking about talaq and the hadith about it's invalid or it's rejected. So what?
Some scholars, keyword.
Some.
Keyword.
Okay, so some.
That's the key word. Not all the scholars. That's the whole argument.
Mm. So is it specific madhabs that?
Of
that
course.
say-
Of course. Of course.
But then, Sheikh, how can someone say that the talaq is valid if it was done, like she was menstruating or something? How can that be?
There are many reasons why they say that's valid. That tonight wasn't
I know.
the night of discussing that in detail. All that was a training exercise. As far as the ruling of talaq, of bid'ah, we've explained that in other classes. The scholars who say that talaq al-bid'ah counts, they have many things that they use. And they're proving their evidence is strong. That's not the discussion tonight. You agree or disagree, that's fine, but it isn't something which they just made up. There's a reason why they say that talaq, even though it's sinful, still counts. But the hadith and how it's to be understood and used, that's the only thing which was tonight, nothing more. Wallahu a'lam. No. You come, you MIA, come late, disturbed, giving everybody and their mom a handshake, laughing, left. Evident. Next question.
Initials LM from Bronx, New York. Questioner says, when I was a Christian, there was a guest speaker. I was 5 years old boy. I was a 5-year-old boy. He said I had special powers of healing. Also, he was reading people and saying the Lord is telling me so and so.
Next question.
Initials YM from Los Angeles, California. I won't name people, but certain people in the English language have come up. Initials AA from Windsor, Ontario. Is it a good idea in order to find out if she's liberal or not to ask her if she thinks Sharia law should be applied here, and what's her stance on music and Muslim non-hijabis?
Any sister that you're trying to marry, you need to get a good, pretty decent picture of who she is and who she is not, and how she looks at things, deen and dunya. Deen and dunya. However, don't push the people above and beyond their limit and their level. Some Muslims aren't even there, spiritually or mentally. Sharia, who's that? Literally, who's that? They may not even know. Or some people, unfortunately, many of us are brainwashed by a non-Muslim. Sharia law is throwing somebody off of a bridge, honor killing, you're caught, looking at a boy, we stone you to death in front of everybody. Of course I'm not for that. So don't go too far above and beyond. And my personal opinion, I'm a big fan of not fishing in muddy waters, for men and for women. A sister should not be sitting down with a brother that she has to ask those types of questions, and vice versa. Just end of discussion. You're not even supposed to be looking for a wife, and you have to ask those. I come into the sit down with a Yankee hat, a Mets hat, the jersey. I got a glove. I got orange and blue, and I said, "Do you like baseball?" I'm supposed to be picking among sisters who are already what? Baseball heads. Baseball heads. If I'm a Yankee fan in the Bronx, shout out to Ibn Victor, right? I'm not going to ask her, do you hate the Red Sox? It's supposed to be established fact that I'm a Yankees fan, what? Period. So you asking, is she liberal? What do you think about Sharia law? If those are basic values to you, you shouldn't even be dealing with that stuff. You should be sitting down, dealing with the sister. What's your favorite color? What foods do you like? What are your thoughts? Homeschool, public school, private school, that kind of stuff. Not liberal Sharia law. You're orthodox, hardcore, and she may be some other wishy-washy stuff. You can't even begin to, because it's going to, the hairline crack is going to turn what? It's going a major fracture later on when there's hot stuff poured into the cup. The relationship is going to get hot, pressure. So don't ever forget that. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
Initials MA from London, UK. Someone said we can't or shouldn't help Muslims being invaded unless their flag is Islamic and united. Is there anything like this in Islam? What does a flag have to do with defending Muslims?
We can't help Muslims who are being invaded and attacked unless they're under an Islamic banner, not on a nationalistic banner, so on and so forth. Well, the problem with this statement is that many people, they give these fatwas or they say these things, and they themselves live in a country in which their banner isn't what? Islamic. They live in a nationalistic country with a national anthem, a national song, a national dish, national colors. So be honest. Just be honest. Let's just keep it 100%. We're afraid and we're scared. We don't want the kuffar to destroy our country. I'm sorry. Neighbor, I'm sorry. What can we do? But don't try to Islamicize your fear and your cowardice. Don't try to justify your cowardice. Don't make it look into some major technical fiqh issue why the Muslims getting slaughtered and we can't and won't say anything about it. Because there's a fiqh reason why. That's vile. And many people are guilty of this vile behavior. Just be honest. Keep it 100%. Don't put a Sharia stamp on your selling out. La. So people, they say, oh, the Palestinians, look at them, the women don't wear hijab. How many people in your country don't wear hijab? The men, they're secular, they don't have beards. How many people in your country are shaven? What type of nonsense is that? Long time.
Initials LA from Anaheim, California.
Salam.
I'm revert guy. I come from a family of junkies, predators, and
Next
Islamophobes.
question. Fadal akhi.
Sheikh, so I'm getting married, right? And so
You friends with Chan?
yeah, I am.
So you don't need to hear anything from me. He's the man. Trust me.
I really need your advice on this. So like so
You know I put you on blast? You sure?
So prior to the wedding, me and her agreed like, we should get a nice nikah at the mosque.
Okay.
And after that we should maybe host a dinner, like a walima.
Okay.
And call it a day.
All right.
Move on with our lives.
Okay.
Her parents got involved, my parents got involved, and it's like they made our lives like hell, They were like, we need a big wedding. And it was to the point where it was too much. I like caved in, and I agreed to the wedding. And I obviously now the wedding, it's 250 people. It's expensive. It's dancing,
etc., etc.
Am I getting sin for that? I tried when I'm telling you, I tried to the point.
Understood.
Where
If you tried your best, and the father basically said, you can't have my daughter unless you agree to these terms. Or your mother and father, they said, you, son, can't get married unless you agree to our terms. Then inshallah, there's no sin upon you. Inshallah, there's what? There's no sin upon you. However, just know for sure. Now, before I say what I'm about to say, under any circumstance am I ignorant or unaware of the reality of how things are. I know how culture is. I know parents. I know the force and the power of culture and of parents. It's easily said than going against your parents. I get it. But just know for sure, Yahi, once the sharks smell blood. So we can punk you and intimidate you now. When you're married to her, when she's your wife, they will continue to do what?
Punk you.
To punk you and to intimidate you and to micromanage your marriage. Many Muslim parents, not mentioning nobody specifically, but talking about in general, they're victims of micromanagement. Who are victims of micromanagement? Their culture is micromanagement. You're young, stupid, foolish, and dumb. You don't know anything about life. We have to determine and dictate everything to you. And if you are smart or wise enough, we're your parents. Paradise is under the feet of the mothers. You have to listen to everything we tell you. What can you do? So somehow, some way, somewhere you have to draw the line, some line. Maybe not all lines, but to say, whoa, slow down. This is my wife. This is my husband. This is my life. I know that's easier said than done. I know, trust me. But I'm telling you, within 10, 20, 30, 50 years, it has to be some tide against that push. And if everybody keeps agreeing and laying down, then it'll only grow stronger. Somebody has to push back and say, with respect, La wa shukran, jazakallahu khairan. You may ruffle a few feathers. Some people get mad at you, get angry with you, but eventually they'll say, leave him alone. He's disrespectful. He thinks he knows it all. He's ignorant. No problem, but they'll leave you alone. But you give in every single time, all you do is whet their appetite for more blood. And that's the basic law of nature. Basic law of nature. Wallahu a'lam. May Allah make it easy for you. And for all of the Muslim youth. And don't forget, guys, as we've said many times before, if you're marrying a traditional marriage, you're not just marrying a girl. You're not just marrying a guy, you're marrying the parents. So choose wisely. You're marrying the whole family, especially the mother. Don't ever forget that. So if you and her can't get along or whatever, you already know it's going to get worse. And they're going to be bolder afterwards. Because you're my son-in-law, I can disrespect you even what? Even more now. Because you're my son-in-law. Now you're a stranger. But I can just come in, kick in the door, walk in your bedroom, lay down on your bed, because you can't say anything now. I gave you my daughter. Somebody has to push back. Wallahu a'lam. May Allah make it easy for us all.
You need a halal DJ?
Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. My guy, that's right. Absolutely. On the wheels of steel. 100%. Fadal.
Initials RA from London, UK. Do you think we can learn non-religious things from the Greeks and Romans, like strategy, economic, etc.?
Do you think you can learn things from the Greeks and Romans, such as strategy, medicine, etc.? Without a question. There's no question about that. The Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam, what did he say about being intimate with a woman who's breastfeeding? I was going to forbid it until فَنَظَرْتُ. I looked at Persia and Rome, and I saw that they do this practice, and it doesn't what? It doesn't harm them. So there are many things. Rather, much of Arab medicine comes from the Greeks. Many things. Many aspects of Arab culture come from the Indian subcontinent. Henna, certain spices, the swords that they used in battle. Woot steel came from where? Came from India. Woot is the predecessor to Damascus steel. So there are many, many things in history. If you read and study, you'll find the origin of it among non-Muslim people. As long as it doesn't go against the Quran and Sunnah, and as long as you don't make it into your personality. 24/7 Greeks, Romans, Greco-Roman. La. Wallahu alam.
Initials RA from
You can
Calgary.
fact check the hadith yourselves. You don't have to take it from me. That's just, yani, fatal.
Initials RA from Calgary, Canada. I'm a revert. I live in an area with very little fully halal jobs. There's barely any.
Next question.
Initials YM from Toronto, Ontario. Do you know anybody whose wife makes more than them, and how do they handle it without losing manhood, both at the marriage meeting and during the marriage itself?
Your wife, her money is longer than yours. Huh? How do you keep your manhood and your ego? Allah knows best. Subhanallah. I didn't say it. Allahu Akbar. That's the answer. Bil-layli wa nahar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Wal-layli la yaghsha. Allahu musta'an. Ala kulli hal. I mean, if you want to be honest about it, the Prophet ﷺ, didn't he work for Khadija? Who was a better man than him? How many years did he work for her? Was he employed? He was her employee. The best guidance is the guidance of who? So it depends on how things go. Cultural, economic, political, racial, it depends on how you manage it. It depends on her and it depends on you. If you're insecure, then anything is going to make you even more insecure. And that's a very important aspect of getting married, is to fix your insecurities. And if they're too strong and too big to fix, then at least learn how to mask them well, hide them. I sweat a lot. My smell isn't the best. I'm gonna wash up 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. I'm taking showers. I'm put on good, strong deodorant. I'm put on cologne. I'm gonna mask any slightest smell. I'm not gonna walk in the sun. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna sit in the sun. From point A to point B, car, train, AC has to be blasting. I'm gonna wear breathable cotton clothes. So if I can get rid of the cause behind my bad smells, then that's what I'm gonna do. And if I can't, then do what? Hide it. And that's why we always say stack your stats. You have Islamic insecurities, she knows more Quran than me, get the hifdin. Financial insecurities, get the saving, get the stacking. You're physically insecure, get some whey or protein, go to the gym, rip right and what? Get a rip stick and what? Bismillah. You have an insecurity with your fashion or your clothes, talk to Sheikh Imtiaz. He'll give you some fashion advice. The sunnah. So
Sheikh, what would be the end result of that if the guy doesn't want to?
if he doesn't want to, then he should stay away from that situation. Because it's going to cause a bigger problem afterwards. Especially if she is an egomaniac. Because every fight and argument, he's going to think, oh, you think just because you have more money than me? I never said that. Because you're extremely insecure. Or if she's an egomaniac, and I bought you your clothes, I bought you your phone, I bought you your video games, I paid for this. She's going to keep throwing it in your face. So it's not a good situation to be in. However, it depends on what that bank look like. Bismillah, right? I could use a Umrah trip every year, Hajj now, some HD equipment, some rings, some tea. They say you'll forget all of those things on your way to the what? On your way to the bank. That's what the sellouts say. The baby's being blown up and killed. You'll forget about it when you're what? When you're cashing in that check. It doesn't get deeper than that. This is what they say. And oftentimes they do what? You do forget about it on the way to the bank. Wallahu alam. So what is the Havara agreement? Anybody know what that is? Anybody heard of the Havara agreement? So it says the Havara agreement was an agreement between Nazi Germany and Zionist organizations signed on 25 August 1933. The agreement was finalized after 3 months of talks by the Zionist Federation of Germany and the Anglo-Palestine Bank under the directive of the Jewish Agency and the economic authorities of Nazi Germany. It was a major factor, not a minor, but what? A major factor in making possible the migration of approximately 60,000 German Jews to Palestine between 1933 and 1939. The agreement enabled Jews fleeing persecution under the new Nazi regime to transfer some portion of their assets to British Mandatory Palestine. Immigrants sold their assets in Germany to pay for essential goods manufactured in Germany to be shipped to Mandatory Palestine. The agreement was controversial and was criticized by revisionist Zionist leader Ze'ev Jabotinsky and by some non-Zionist Jews. Whoa. This is crazy now. So this is the Wikipedia we're reading from, not some 7-layer of earth, dungeon, conspiracy theory, anti-Semitic, hating. This is Wikipedia, that's surface level. And some even say controlled and influenced by the Brazilians. All right, we call them that. What's important is, if this is the surface level, they're saying that there was an agreement between what? The Nazis, the evil Nazis, and that's a problem. Secondly, the article says is that there were non-Zionists. I thought the Jew automatically equated to, and Zionists automatically equated to. Something is a little what? And then the article says that there's mandatory Palestine. I thought there was never any such thing as, they said there was never a Palestine. When the Mamluks had it, when the Ottomans had it, when the Romans had it, there was never such thing as, this is Wikipedia that we're reading. So if this is a Wikipedia article, then imagine in Hebrew, Arabic, or German sources. So there was a pact and an agreement that was convenient for both sides between the evil Nazis and the, wait a second, something is what? Oh man, next question. I'm sorry, just something that just came up. And don't forget, this is what? Wikipedia. It's not a conspiracy theory source. Wikipedia now. Fadal. Bismillah.
Allah Mustaan.
Oh, wait a second. This is crazy. It says here, what's that? Fadal.
Initials DA from Phoenix, Arizona. In gatherings and lectures, does there have to be a curtain between men and women?
Next question.
Initials LAY from Seattle, Washington. What are a few fountain pens that are best for everyday use, and where are they available?
Waterman is a good introductory level fountain pen, in my humble opinion. Waterman is made in France. I think the prices are relatively fair, and it's a great starting point for everyday fountain pen. Still has some class to it, but not too fancy, too expensive, or too advanced. Wallahu alam.
Initials LM from Bronx, New York. Sheikh, you skipped over my question at the beginning. It was regards to jinn possession. It is very important. Please answer.
I believe we answered it several times within the last couple of days or weeks.
Initials AA from Toronto, Canada. Sheikh, may Allah bless you. Can you give advice to a brother? He fears having jealousy towards his brothers who receive blessings which he hasn't.
So it says here, initially Nazi, this is a different article now. It says initially Nazi Germany used violence and economic pressure to coerce Jews to leave Germany. Around 250,000 of the country's 437,000 Jews immigrated between 1933 and 1939. Eichmann traveled to British Mandatory Palestine with his superior, Herbert Hagen, in 1937 to assess the possibility of Germany's Jews voluntarily immigrating there, disembarking with forged press credentials at Haifa, Once they traveled to Cairo in Egypt, there they met Favel Pokes, an agent of the Haganah, with whom they were unable to strike a deal. Pokes suggested that more Jews should be allowed to leave under the terms of the Havara agreement, each being allowed to take 1,000 euros with them so that they would qualify for entry to Palestine under a less restricted form of immigration. The independent state, or says the suggestion was dismissed. Hagen giving two reasons in his report. A strong Jewish presence in Palestine might lead to their founding an independent state, which would run contrary to Reich policy. It was also against Reich policy to allow the free transfer of Jewish capital. Eichmann and Hagen attempted to return to Palestine a few days later, but were denied entry when the British authorities refused them the required visas. Their report on the visit was published in 1982. In 1938, Eichmann was posted to Vienna to help organize Jewish immigration from Austria, which had just been integrated into the Reich through the Anschluss. Jewish community organizations were placed under supervision of the SD and tasked with encouraging and facilitating Jewish immigration. Funding came from money seized. This is very interesting stuff here. When we're told that Palestine was an empty, barren land. It's a land with no people for people with no land. And that the Nazis hated the Jews, gassed them, killed them. They just because they were Jews. But when you actually read the surface level stuff, you see that they were laying in the what? Same bed under the same cover. And there were many things that were convenient for both parties. So if 1938 was convenient, maybe in 1939, maybe 1940, maybe 1941, maybe 1942, maybe 1943, maybe 1944, and maybe other dates and events were also based off of, such as turning a blind eye, what is happening. And nothing is a coincidence and an accident. When was the Balfour Declaration made? Came after what war? When was Israel created as a state? Coming after what war? Coincidence? Convenience? Very interesting food for thought, guys. Right? Photo.
Initials AA from Toronto, Canada. Sheikh, may Allah bless you. Can you give advice to a brother? He fears having jealousy towards his brothers who received blessings which he hasn't.
Ask Allah to take the jealousy away from you. Make dua to take it away from you. And most importantly, focus on the countless blessings that you have. You spend so much time worrying about the next person, you're ungrateful for what Allah has given you. So many things Allah gave you that He didn't give the next person. Focus on what Allah gave you and being grateful. That for sure will keep you busy. Wallahu a'lam.
Initials MW from Toronto, Canada. I want to marry a revert girl, but I worry her fam will always push her to divorce. Which cultures do you recommend?
Stop worrying. Worrying is from the shaitan. Put your trust in Allah. That's all you need to do. Rely on Allah. You don't control anything in the future. You can marry a girl who isn't a revert, and her parents can still push you. That's waswas.
Initials RA from Calgary, Canada. Am I a munafiq? I think sometimes Bosnia was invaded. If Bosnia was invaded again, I would go and help. And deep down, I know I would be too scared.
If you're afraid of being a munafiq, then inshallah you're a believer.
Initials MW from Toronto, Canada. Is there an email we can use to contact you directly by chance?
HadithDiscipleshop.com.
Initials MA from London, UK. Yes, Sheikh, they're definitely clipping you after this stream.
Not the first or the last.
It's not funny.
And if you're not being clipped, then you're not speaking the truth. That's how it is. A man who has no enemies has been ignored, or fortune has ignored him. Fortune has ignored the man who has no enemies. That's a fact. So if you're not being clipped, then are you a part of the problem or the solution? And if I'm being clipped for reading it off of Wikipedia, then so be it. It's literally that what? It's literally that simple. Legally speaking, it's that what? Free encyclopedia. He's inciting hate, but he's reading from a what?
Wikipedia.
Free encyclopedia. If that's a crime, then
Let it be.
I'm guilty. Fadal. Tight. We'll stop here.
As you
More
like,
questions?
Sheikh. As you like. Jazakallah khair.
Fadal, ya akhi.
Shakes, I'm a friend. All that guy does is just talk to girls, right? And I'm like, I got married, so I always push him for like marriage. I'm like, yo, like you're sinning, and I'm like, and the advice I give him, I'm like, you're so desensitized. That's why you're not gonna find like it's very hard for you to find the righteous girl. And so like, what advice would you want me to give him to get married?
Tight. Well, what do you think, John?
Alhamdulillah.
So, what's your favorite dish to eat? What's your favorite food to eat? You like Alfredo? Chicken Alfredo? How you like it? Homemade, fresh? Garlic bread or cracked black pepper? Maybe some Romano cheese or something on top? John, sound good? Some sea salt maybe? Inshallah. At the end of the day, what good is it you keep talking and flirting with those women if you're not going to pull the trigger? You're wasting theirs and your time. And if you're letting all those years go by the prime of your youth and of your manhood, with what benefit? Bismillah. You can't just be fishing just to fish. Right? You gotta take one home. 1 or 4, but at least what? At least one. Striped bass, right? Fluke, right? Bluefish, grouper, right? Look at that. What's this, Sheikh? I thought it was a gift. What's the hadith about the man who takes back his gift? Okay, Bismillah. Sorry, if no more questions, we'll stop here. Ikhwan, Jazakumullah khairan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خيرا